So I just worked at the cafe for a few hours, but I think most of the time I spent talking with other people. And the good thing is I think I found a walking partner. So every Tuesday we're going to meet up and go for a walk at least once a week before we go for a coffee. Instead of going straight to the cafe and putting on the kilos, we're going to at least incorporate walking into our lives, so that's good. Even though I only worked maybe an hour at the cafe, and even though I was there for like 3 hours, but I worked about an hour on my laptop, I'm still glad that I did it, because it forced me out of a comfort zone that I've been in, like the loop. And this is, something else, like regarding like last year or whatever, when I went through my awakening, I woke up and I healed myself, and I felt young and vital, and I loved myself, and I loved my body, and I loved life, and I loved where I was going, and I loved that I could, that I was going to take off in the van and go on all these adventures, and I was going to help the world, and yada, yada, yada. And then having that random magnetic attraction to someone at the same time that they had that with me, and then being betrayed by that. But before that, I think what that did was, it was an external facet validating my newness, like the new me, the one that had not felt so good, felt so young, felt so loving towards everyone. And I'd never been that person before, and I'd never I was so different from who I used to be. And then I think it's because, like, that new me, that real me or whatever, I felt like, I'm just going through another possibility here, but I think I felt validated as that new person. That new person was validated. That new me was validated. And that betrayal, like the fact that it was all a joke, and that, it was all to pull that new me back into line. And I think the betrayal of that was sort of like realizing that clearly the universe is showing me where I don't love myself, and that the fact that it knocked me off my stocks, like took me so by shock and surprise and everything like that, is because I just couldn't believe anyone could be so cruel. But I also was part of that, and I don't know, like seeing how I feel like I can understand a lot more about other people who go through the similar thing, where they're validated by someone. I talk about every relationship here. So, like they're validated by someone, they open their soul to someone, they trust someone, and that trust is broken, and they then feel invalidated as a human being, and then they get fixated on that person validating them again, instead of looking inside and going, okay, well, obviously it's somewhere in me, like it shouldn't matter. So there's something in me that is not validating myself, that's saying I'm less than. And that's why it's been important to do the work on myself, work out where I don't love myself and all that kind of stuff. But there was a time in that thing, like shortly afterwards, where I'm like, okay, here's my New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to start doing this and this and this and this, and basically get back on track. And another YouTuber said, oh, you're just going to start the same loop again. I'm like, at that time, I was so freaked out by everything that was happening, so shocked that I could end up in such a mind-blowing situation that I didn't ever think was possible. Like, it was just so random and unexpected and shocking to me. And I was just like looking for anyone to try and get me back on track. And when he said that I was just going to do that, I believed him. And I didn't. And I ended up hibernating. But I really should have got back into it's all about, if you love yourself, you're basically then sharing love with other people, and you're being love, and you're being that which you want the world to be. And so, you know, like taking a year and a half off looking after myself. Look at my bags under my eyes. Like, this is me without makeup, but, you know, you got bags under my eyes, you got, like, redness and acne and fat, you know, layers of defense systems, and just not taking care, not exercising, not living, not getting the energy moving, not putting life force, you know, life living foods in your mouth. And I don't know, like, I think all of that is important. Like, going for the walks once a week is a start, but like, just let myself go back off track and just take the easy way out. Like, I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. Knowing that, like, anything that you do to improve your own worth in yourself, to show that you are grateful for life and that you're grateful for your body and you're grateful for this experience and all that kind of stuff, like gratitude and actually, you know, intending a better life is really key. It's so key. But we just, I think I didn't realize how much external validation I needed. But then I think everybody is our reflection as well. Like, everybody, you know, the way that you feel like people are seeing you is actually part of you seeing yourself as not all you can be. And that is, you know, more to work on. So I, you know, kind of, you know, in that space, I'm kind of in the space of, like, I know that to improve the world kind of thing, that I have to be the change that I want to see in the world. That still hasn't changed. Even with all the crap that's happened, I still know that you have to be true to your soul, and not just take the easy way out. Sometimes it takes hard work to get back on track, but then it's easy because it's part of your life, it's part of your being, it's who you are. And that which you don't like about who you are is the things that you need to work on. That's life. That's part of the experience here. Part of the many different aspects of this experience here. But if you're taking on a perspective like I have, that I've been, you know, walking into that workplace as a lesser being and allowing myself to have that experience of being off my pedestal, you know, taking my ego on a little journey of, wow, shame, you know, guilt, humiliation, ugliness, fatness, lowness, really knocking myself off that pedestal. And that's why I probably haven't been doing the YouTube videos either. It's probably because I felt like, what message have I got to share, you know? So I've really got to get myself back on track. And I don't mean back on track because I'm on a completely different path now. But it's still, I can see how, you know, these bumps in the road sort of help you, because I didn't, you know, I was also living a life of fear and I didn't even realize it until I was forced, you know, like a punch in the face, forced to look at where I don't love myself, even though I felt like the most loving being on the universe, that I was connected to everything and blah, blah, blah. But now it's given me more understanding about other people's, why they become, you know, insane sometimes. And it hasn't, you know, I don't have the answers for other people. All I can do is work on myself. But I really had to look deep this time. I had to look deeper than I've ever gone. Even when I thought that I've spent my whole life working on personal development, self-development, and things like that. Now, like, this year and a half has been digging deeper than I've ever gone before, working out those kinks. And I haven't worked on as much as I could, like, because I didn't place any importance on the lifestyle factor. I placed all my importance on trying to stabilize myself, which is important, stabilize myself and really observe where I am in regards to the way that I think other people are seeing me, which is, I don't know, it's just another experience, another way of looking at life. But now I feel, for one, I'm happy that I'm now taking steps towards, my calling, which is, light workers, which is, helping people, helping others, that I can work on every day, knowing that I'm making a meaningful difference. But it's not about external validation in that regard. It's more about gaining back validation in myself. Like, I don't even care if I never get paid for it. It's more about, I'm following my calling, I'm doing right by my soul. And that is a step towards whatever. It's on the path. It's on the path when I'm doing that, versus any alternative to that. Any alternative to that. You need to have, this service to others thing needs to take an extra step, in that this service to others thing is about the service to others by following what feels in your heart and your soul to be in alignment to your being and improving your being always. And yeah, I've totally been off track, and I'm starting to wake up as I move closer to my calling. Like, I'm not super excited like I should be, or like I used to be, about this path, but it feels so much more in alignment to who I really am at the core, like, who I am behind the mask I give the world. So it feels like the right step. It feels like, if I were to die soon, that is what I would want to be doing before I die. So it's like a legacy thing, but it's more like following what's true to who you are. So not about external validation so much, but realizing that was such a big part of why things were so brutal. It is because of that lack of self-worth that I didn't even realize was there, because I was the happiest I've ever been. And so I couldn't even put that in the picture until so much time has gone past, and I can reflect back on other people's experiences, the relationships that have broken down, the things, crazy things people do when their love is broken down, and things like that. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm thinking I'm understanding it a lot more, looking at it through the eyes of someone watching that third party, those third parties, and seeing that which aspects of that I can resonate with in the same situation that I was in, even though mine was not a relationship. It was just totally not about that. It was me thinking that I can save somebody and going a little bit too far outside of my own soul's comfort zone, but thinking that that's what, because I was crazy, thinking that's what I was there for. But now I realize I'm not here to save people in a way where I see someone, I feel sorry for them, I want to lift them up and give them that space to be all who they are. I need to be and give myself space to be all I can be, and also be that, like, literally, like, from a space of not so high in the sky, but from this grounded, real space, I can improve myself, and naturally I will work out the kinks in where I was looking for external validation. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to see what my mind was thinking. I guess that's what it's thinking at the moment. That we can always be better, but we're not. It's like the ego is kind of important in that there's a difference between being so into the ego where you don't look at where you are at fault, and versus wanting to be a better person and having self-confidence because you know you're on path. There's so much of a difference. It's so, looking at it, you could see it being the same thing, but when you see someone in total ego mode where they just can't see where they're dark, where they are responsible for the reality that they are perceiving, versus someone who's like, oh, okay, this is where I really fucked up, and this is where I've gone wrong and gone outside of what my best self, or what my higher self, what my soul, who I feel that I am behind this, human shell. It isn't in alignment to who I believe that I am, and that is what I'm here to work on. One of the things I'm here to work on. Because by working on my own, taking responsibility for everything, of my own part in everything, which is so hard to do when you're in the face of, seeing a raw truth, a raw deep truth that you haven't ever seen before, because that has been blind to you your whole life, and then all of a sudden, there's spotlights on that dark space in you, and you're like, holy shit, that can't be true. And you want to flip that around and not make it true, and blame other people for bringing that out in you. When if you're asking the universe for the truth, the universe is going to shine the truth on what you need to work on the most. And I think it did a doozy on me. I asked for it and I got it, but I didn't expect it to be so bad. And I did not expect it would turn my world around and my beliefs around, and that everything would be shook up even more, because I thought, because when I went through my awakening, that was so different to the life that I had before, that there couldn't possibly be anything too bad. And knocked me for a sixer. And so now it's a matter of, the YouTube channel name doesn't change. Journey to a Better Life. Constantly, I guess. Even when you feel like you're on track to having a better life. Life's little challenges is going to show you where the next lesson is, and what else you need to learn, and what else you're here for, and how else you can improve. And it's not about being up to standards of anyone else. It's yourself judging yourself. And if you're judging yourself and you know that you can do something to improve it, and you're ignoring it, which is, what I've been doing, is just sort of keeping hidden, keeping down, keeping away, not wanting to face the pain, and sometimes just wanting to dwell in the pain and feel how, I don't know, sometimes wanting to dwell in the victim stuff, and sometimes realizing that I am, and not knowing how to get out of it, not knowing how to be happy, and not wanting to spread that shady darkness, negative sadness, grief onto anyone else, because you want them to be light, so that you've got some space to be better yourself. Yeah, it was a bit of a ramble, but so I think, I was on the right track. I completely doubted everything that I'd ever knew, to start from scratch, start from a blank straight, because I had to just disregard all my beliefs and anything that I believed before, because I just didn't trust myself not to be, not to take the wrong turn. And now I know that, self-improvement is definitely 100% part of healing from dark forces, real or imagined. But that play, looking at it, where if life is shit, there are steps that we can take, and I was on the right track in that regard. I just didn't have faith in me anymore. But now I know the multitude of things that I should be doing, and it's just a matter of making them a habit, so that I can get that back in my life, but also not ignoring the dark. not ignoring that, just realizing that's part of us as well. That's part of, that is me as well. That is a perspective of me, an aspect of me that is in me, that is a part of me, that is teaching me, that is teaching me what I don't want, which is not, it is still part of my being, but it's not something that I need to live. But it's like where it shows up is where it's shining, the spotlight for you to work on, whatever triggers you, whatever is, keeping you in that loop. There is that story thing, that thing that you need to figure out why you're stuck there so that you can move past it. But there's other things that you can do, not to ignore it, to know that it's there, but there's other things you can do to improve, to get on the right track, to make sure that you're following the path of your being so that you are, doing what you came here to do. But not letting, that one event block you from becoming who you are, becoming who you were meant to be, becoming what you came here for, what you are here for. And it's all, limitations and challenges and things like that, but it doesn't need to be painful if we look at it more as I can't believe that me personally, let that destroy me. Because I didn't have that mindset, but it was because I thought, well, that mindset is what fucked me up, that I had to just stop everything and start again from scratch. So that's where I am, starting again from scratch in this box, trying to move outside the lines, but on track for changing things now. I did not expect it to last this long. I didn't expect it to last this long. I thought a couple of weeks, and then after a couple of months I thought, maybe a couple of more weeks. All of a sudden, a year and a half's gone by. I'm like, how is it that I'm still barreling down the wrong path, hiding from the world, feeling so down and, no, not down, like just empty, like numb, not caring, not a part of the world, like just attached and numb and different, and not, just so afraid to be myself, because I knew that I just think so differently than everybody else, and that I must be wrong because, my thinking turned me crazy, between all the conspiracy stuff and the awakening stuff and the love everybody stuff and the trying to help people stuff. Ugh. So now it's more of the same path, but looking at it from I help people by helping myself. I help others by being what I believe the world needs, and I'm not there yet, and because I'm not there yet, what inspiration am I to anybody? So looking at where I am not what my soul says that I should be, not where it's leading me, And so step one was getting back on board with the community lightworkers stuff, getting into that project, being part of it, and that, step two is going for a walk with that lady every week, and step three is maybe looking after my diet and having living things, living healthy, nutritious things go into my body, but movement, not stillness. But stillness is still big part of it because you need to reflect. You need to hone down and not try and avoid pain so much where you're ignoring the very thing that will set you free. So I will see how it goes. I think that I am, I've taken 1 footstone towards the path that I'm supposed to be on just by joining that project. And that if I do this correctly, then I will have a pathway for others But maybe I needed to go rock bottom again just so that I could go through this from a very dark place instead of the way that I accidentally sort of stumbled into happiness through, you know, all sorts of different events. You know, I accidentally stumbled into all that kind of stuff. Now it's a very deliberate observation, you know, from a place of awareness and direction and looking at myself and the world around me and what the world needs, but not in a grand scale like it used to be. It's more about getting on, each individual getting on their path of what they're supposed to be here to do. Not that there's a supposed to at all. Like, you know, you could do whatever you want when you're in this world, but there is some kind of inner guidance system. It's just that mine was a little bit, well, it felt like a little bit screwed, but maybe I'm saying that it wasn't screwed because it led me to this so that I can start from scratch. Or it led me to see what my deepest, darkest, scariest moment was, you know. Maybe it led me there on purpose, but maybe that's just a permission slip, excuse, whatever. You know, who knows? You don't actually know. But there is something inside you that's, you know, that you feel, you know, is guiding you. I just didn't expect to be guided to darkness. I expected to be guided to more good. But maybe I just ignored things because I was on such a high. I don't know. There's so many perspectives I've taken on in the last year and a half trying to nut out what exactly happened. But this external validation thing seems to be big part of it, just because I was doing the YouTube videos as well. Like, that, could that be, like I said, like, you know, I was doing YouTube videos. What was I trying to seek external validation there? You know, I thought it was, you know, try and find my tribe and try and help people. But is that because I wanted external validation? I wanted someone to validate me for who I am, because I didn't validate me for who I am. I don't know. So, yeah, what a ramble. I don't know if I'll upload this. I just wanted to see where I was at. This is where I'm at today. Bye.